Hey, Ryan here with Accelerate Marketing, and if you're an attorney, you probably want to watch this video. I'm going to talk really quickly today about why, as an attorney, you would want to run Google local service ads, otherwise known as Google Screened. The reason why is because you can get cases on Google local service ads or Google Screened for literally half the cost of what you would pay for any other ad unit type. We've run all different ad units from Facebook to Google Ads to YouTube. And I'm telling you that there's no other ad unit that I know of that can generate the consistency of leads. We've compared Facebook, YouTube, etc., and it consistently outperforms all of them as long as you also dispute your calls. A lot of people don't even know that with Google local service ads, you only pay for qualified leads. So what does that mean? That means that you only pay for phone calls that you receive that are during office hours and that are one of the job types that you take. Now, there are other exceptions to this rule, and this is the reason why we actually dispute the calls for our clients, which is very rare. Not many agencies do that. So if you're looking to run local service ads, the first thing you want to ask any potential agency that is going to run your ads for you, you want to ask them first and foremost, are they going to dispute your calls for you? It'll make a big difference because you can actually get between 10 and up to 50% of the calls successfully disputed. And that means that you get 10 to 50% of your ad spend returned to you within about a month and a half. So that's number one. The other thing is you only pay for qualified leads. So it's much different than paying per click with Google pay-per-click. The other thing that you want to make sure of is that you guys can answer the phone. Now, what that means is I would set up a call service so that you make sure that every call that your intake team does not answer goes directly to the call service so that at least somebody answers it, because Google only gets paid when you answer the phone, okay? It's very important. Google only gets paid when you answer the phone. So do you think they're gonna send leads to a firm that doesn't answer the phone? No, they're not. And there's a right and a wrong way to set up a LSA page from the beginning. If you set it up incorrectly, you can shoot yourself in the foot and assure yourself that you're not going to get leads in the future. So I'm going to encourage you to definitely ask questions when you are looking for a good agency to work with. I would also suggest that you set up an MCC account or a master account in order to manage all of your pages in one place. Also, that makes it easy for you to take message leads, which will definitely put you ahead of your competitors. Also, you definitely want to be 24 hours, 7 days a week, especially if you're PI. Even to compete in PI, you're going to have to do that. The other thing that you want to ask if you're going to work with an agency is, do they send a disposition sheet out on a daily basis? In other words, do they listen to your phone calls and then send a report out like my team does every single day after my team listens to the calls in order to identify any missed or abandoned calls? My team actually tags those calls, sends them over in a spreadsheet in order to get feedback from the intake team, so that feedback loop happens much faster so that we can identify when those calls are being missed and or abandoned, because that is the death knell of your LSA page. It's really important that not only that your team answers the phone, but they properly dispute the calls. There are definitely strategies, and I talk about in my other videos about setting up LSA pages for different law verticals, which, by the way, if you are a non-PI attorney, definitely you have a huge opportunity to get leads. Okay, I'm going to encourage you to do a search for your main keyword. For example, estate attorney near me, tax attorney near me, business law attorney near me, real estate attorney near me. These are all verticals for law that have very few competitors. And I'm going to suggest to you that if you really want to get a lot of leads and grow your practice very rapidly, that you allow an agency to properly set up your LSA page from the beginning, sets you up for success by making sure that you have a backup call service that we can suggest to you, and even call tracking. Call tracking is a system that allows you to identify where your calls are coming from. We won't even take on a client unless call tracking is set up. It makes it very easy for my team to tag the calls and properly send out that disposition report on a daily basis. We recommend CallRail. CallRail is awesome. They've been around for many years. They're pretty much the gold standard out there for call tracking. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you really quickly why we use CallRail. So here's what I'm going to show you. So this is the application on my phone, but this same information can very easily be seen in the application on the desktop. And what I want to point out to you here is you can see how my team is tagging the calls based on what type of case it is and what the outcome of the call is. And the other thing that you can see, and this is what I want you guys to see that is so important, is we can identify where or what ad or what type of activity that this call is coming from. Is this call coming from Google My Business like this one is? Or is it coming from LSA in Tampa? Or is it coming from the LSA page in Orlando or in Clearwater or Google Organic? In other words, what ad unit or what source is generating this phone call? Once you know that information, then you can very easily do a search or use a filter to identify all the phone calls that came in, for example, for LSA Orlando or from Google Organic. And then you can identify from there how many actually turned into a new client. So you can identify what your cost per case is or your cost per client is and where you're getting your cheapest clients from. Okay, so here is what a spreadsheet looks like that you would generate on your desktop. But this is so important for you to see, because what we're looking at is how many calls came in between June 8th, 2021 to July 8th of 2022, almost a year. And we're looking at this month over month. And you can see there's 6,029 calls that came in, and you can see how the number of calls fluctuate over time. That is so important, guys, for you to be able to see this information. And what you can also do is you can separate and look at, okay, look at all of the different types of calls that you're getting from all the different ad types. And you can put different colors to each different ad type, and you can see how they ebb and flow or how they go up and down each month. And more importantly, you can actually identify what that return on investment is for each of your ad units, so you know where to spend your money, okay? This is why it's so important to use a call tracking software in order to track what your ROI is, and also to properly forward the phone calls to either you or that call service that's going to be answering the phone for you, okay? Because that call tracking can also allow you to set up a call tree, or rather a forwarding system that rings all phone numbers at one time. And one of those phone numbers would be your backup call service as well, okay? So this is why call tracking is so important. I hope this helped. And again, what it allows you to do is to identify for the first time where your calls are coming from. Are they coming from Facebook? Are they coming from LSA? Are they coming from Google Business Profile? And what it does is it uses what's called a first click attribution, meaning if somebody first clicks on your LSA page and then they go to that link in your LSA page that takes them to your website, the call tracking will identify that that person first clicked on LSA and then they went to your website and then they made the phone call, so that you can properly identify what your cost per case is, so that you can then make easier decisions on where you want to spend your money. And we will prove to you that we can actually generate an increase in your LSA leads by properly optimizing your page and properly setting up these systems like the call service as backup, like call tracking, sending a disposition report, helping you get reviews. This is how you become successful with LSA. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Text me at 619-304-5155. Again, that's 619-304-5155. I'll answer any question that you have. If you want our 3R video, then just type in the word 3R to that same number. So again, if you're an attorney and you're wanting to get a consistent flow of leads, this is the way to do it on a local basis, okay? And that's so important because what LSA does is it puts you at the top of Google with your reviews, your reputation, and you have authority because Google gives you that checkbox and because you're at the top of Google. And let us know what questions you have. Hope this helps. Thanks, bye-bye.